Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos learn the hard way that age is not just a number. The Emmy-winning daytime hosts found themselves in an unexpected debate on aging during an interview with guest Howie Mandel on Live with Kelly and Mark Monday, March 23rd. The comedian and longtime America's Got Talent judge turned 70 in November. "That doesn't make any sense," Ripa said in amazement at Mandel's age, to which he replied, "What do you mean it doesn't make any sense?" Consuelos attempted to clarify the comment by complimenting Mandel's appearance, remarking he looked great. But the explanation didn't sit well with Mandel. "I look great? That doesn't mean anything to me," Mandel said. "I don't like that because that's a caveat. Because when you tell somebody you're 70, they go, 'You look great for your age.' Need a news break? Check out the all-new Play Hub with puzzles, games and more." He added, "It's like saying, 'You're smart for a stupid person.' Oh, you look smart, you seem smart. I don't look good." But Ripa and Consuelos insisted that Mandel looks great, regardless of his age, a point that he eventually conceded. "Thank you. Honestly, now, I'll be serious for a minute, I'm gorgeous." "I am," Mandel said, to which Ripa replied, "You're a thing of beauty." As for Mandel's secret to staying young, the comedian got candid on his exercise regimen, which involves swimming with cables he attaches to his ankles and using frying pan paddles. "It's the most ridiculous workout I've ever done in my life," said Mandel, jokingly adding, "I swim for an hour and go nowhere. I get so lost in it. It's really good." Ripa, 55, reflected on her own aging in a February interview with USA Today. While the TV host has previously been game for on-air physical feats, from scaling a 30-foot wall with Cirque du Soleil to hanging upside down on a bungee cord with magician David Blaine, she said she'll be cutting back on the stunts going forward. "I'm older and wiser and more afraid of breaking a hip," Ripa said. "Now, I'd probably tap out. The studio lights always came on a fraction too early. Kelly noticed it every morning. The way the brightness crept in before she was fully ready, like time itself refusing to wait for her. She used to thrive in that light. It energized her, sharpened her wit, made her feel unstoppable. But lately, it felt like exposure. 5 seconds. A producer called from offstage. Kelly adjusted the edge of her cue cards, though she didn't need them. She never did. Across from her, Mark stretched his shoulders casually, the way he always did before going live. Calm. Grounded. Annoyingly unbothered. "You okay?" he asked, glancing at her. "Of course," she said quickly, flashing a smile. "Why wouldn't I be?" Mark didn't answer. He just gave her that look. The one that meant "I know you better than that." The countdown began. 3, 2, 1. And just like that, the world snapped into performance. The interview started light, playful, exactly as planned. Their guest was vibrant, quick-witted, and completely unapologetic. The audience loved him instantly. He had that kind of energy, the kind that didn't fade with time, but seemed to grow sharper, more defined. Kelly leaned in, curious. "So, you turned 70 recently." There was a ripple in the audience, some impressed murmurs, a few gasps. She blinked. "That doesn't make any sense." The words slipped out before she could soften them. A beat passed. "What do you mean it doesn't make any sense?" he replied, smiling, but not entirely joking. Kelly laughed, trying to recover. "I mean, you just don't seem 70. Mark jumped in. "You look great." But the air had shifted. "I look great," their guest repeated, tilting his head. "That doesn't mean anything to me." Kelly felt something tighten in her chest. He leaned forward, suddenly serious. "That's always the caveat, isn't it? You look great for your age." It's like a polite way of reminding someone they're not supposed to. The audience quieted. "It's like saying, 'You're smart for a stupid person,'" he added dryly. A few uneasy laughs scattered through the room. Kelly forced a smile, but her mind was already racing. She hadn't meant it that way. She hadn't meant anything by it, really. It was just what people said. What she'd always said. But now, sitting under the bright, unforgiving lights, it sounded different. It sounded hollow. After the show, the studio felt colder. The energy drained quickly once the cameras stopped rolling. The laughter faded, replaced by the hum of equipment, and the shuffle of crew members, moving on to the next task. Kelly sat at her dressing room mirror, staring at her reflection. She looked the same, didn't she? Her makeup was flawless. Her hair perfectly styled. The same practiced image she'd carried for years. But something in her expression felt older. Not in the way people usually meant. Not wrinkles or lines or grey hairs. Something quieter. Heavier. Mark leaned against the doorframe. You're overthinking it. I'm not, she said, though she clearly was. He wasn't mad. I know. She paused. That's not what this is. Mark stepped inside. Then what is it? Kelly hesitated. It's just, when did it become a compliment to survive your age? Mark frowned. What do you mean? She turned to face him. When someone says, you look great, what they're really saying is, you're not what I expected. And what they expect is, she trailed off. Decay. Mark offered. Exactly. Silence settled between them. Kelly looked back at the mirror. I've built my whole career on being energetic, fearless, young. And now, you still are those things. Am I? She interrupted softly. Mark didn't answer right away. That night, Kelly couldn't sleep. She lay awake, staring at the ceiling, replaying the conversation over and over again. The way he'd said it. The certainty in his voice. I don't look good. It wasn't self-deprecation. It was defiance. He wasn't interested in being good for his age. He wasn't measuring himself against expectations at all. He had simply stepped outside them. Kelly turned onto her side. When had she stopped doing that? The next morning, she found herself at the gym earlier than usual. The place was nearly empty. A few early risers moved quietly through their routines, focused and detached. Kelly walked past the treadmills, past the weight machines, until she reached the pool. The water was still, inviting. She remembered what he'd said about his workout. Swimming with resistance, going nowhere, getting lost in it. It sounded ridiculous. And yet, she slipped off her shoes. The first lap was awkward. Kelly wasn't used to this kind of exercise anymore. Her body resisted the unfamiliar rhythm, her breathing uneven, her strokes clumsy. But she kept going, back and forth. Again and again. There was no destination. No finish line. Just movement. At some point, she stopped thinking. The noise in her head, the endless calculations, comparisons, expectations, began to fade. All that remained was the water. The sensation of pushing against it. The quiet resistance. When she finally stopped, she was breathless. But not tired. Not in the usual way. She rested her arms on the edge of the pool, staring at the ripples she'd created. For the first time in a long while, she felt present. Over the next few weeks, something shifted. Not dramatically. Not all at once. But enough. Kelly stopped correcting herself every time she mentioned her age. Stopped brushing off compliments with self-deprecating jokes. Stopped comparing her current self to a younger version that no longer existed. Instead, she started asking different questions. Not, do I look good for my age? But do I feel like myself? And the answers surprised her. One afternoon, during another live show, the topic came up again. A guest joked about getting older, about slowing down, about all the things people lose with time. Kelly listened, smiling politely. Then, without planning to, she spoke. Why do we always frame it like that? She asked. The guest blinked. Like what? Like aging is something we're supposed to fight, she said. Or hide. Or apologize for. The audience leaned in. I mean, we spend so much time trying to prove we're still good. Still relevant, still capable, still worth something. She paused. But what if we stopped proving it? The room was quiet now. What if we just lived it? Mark glanced at her, surprised. Kelly smiled, not the practiced, polished smile for the cameras. A real one. I'm not interested in being great for my age anymore, she added. I'm just interested in being great. After the show, Mark caught up with her in the hallway. That was new, he said. Kelly shrugged. Was it? He studied her for a moment. You seem lighter. She considered that. Maybe I just stopped carrying something I didn't need. Mark smiled. Took you long enough. She laughed. Yeah, she admitted. It did. Later that evening, Kelly returned to the pool. The water greeted her the same way it always had. Cool, steady, indifferent to time. She slid in without hesitation. This time, she didn't think about form or technique, or how she looked. She just moved. Stroke after stroke. Back and forth. Nowhere and everywhere at once. And for once, that felt like enough. Because the truth was, age had never been the problem. It was the meaning people attached to it. The quiet expectations. The invisible limits. The idea that time was something to outrun instead of something to inhabit. Kelly finally understood what their guest had meant. Looking great wasn't the goal. Being fully there, in every moment, every year, every version of yourself, that was the real thing. And that didn't come with a number.